It's the top of the hour, and you are tuned in to Intermix Radio.
We are.
WYMS, Palmetto, Georgia.
Let's go.
You're tuned into the Midweek Smoothie with DJ Blend and Lady Blend on Intermix Radio.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Happy
hello.
Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
That's right. Listen, I am DJ Blend.
And I am Lady Blend.
And we are
Intermix
Radio.
We forgot who we were.
That's right. And, and this is the
Midweek Smoothie.
So how you doing tonight, Lady Blend?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. How
That's
are you,
good.
sir?
I'm doing wonderful.
Excellent.
You know,
Excellent.
I hope everybody out there is doing well
I hope
too.
so.
Hello to y'all.
Everyone's tuned in. We have a great topic for you this evening.
That's right. We got a great topic. So what's the topic, Lady Blend?
The topic is budgets.
Budget. Okay, budget. Do
you have one? Do you know what one is? Do you think you need one?
Right. Okay. So we just need to go ahead and
we can jump right in.
We jump right in.
Okay, so we know that the holidays are fast approaching.
Yes.
We're going to have Thanksgiving, and then shortly after that, we will be engaging in the Christmas holiday season.
Yeah.
So let me just say this. According to the Conference Board Holiday Spending Survey,
okay,
the average U.S. consumer intends to spend $1,063.
Wait, $1,063 for just Thanksgiving?
On holiday-related purchases in 2024.
Okay, so that's for each holiday.
On holiday purchases for 2024.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's up. That is up 7.9% from the $985
wow.
in 2023.
Wow.
This is also higher than 2022 and 2021.
Wow.
So who said we were in a recession?
Right. They just spending money anyway.
Money anyway. $1,063. Now I can tell you, I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm not included in that statistic of spending $1,063 for the holidays. No, I'm sure that's including the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, as they call it, all the way through Christmas.
Right.
I'm not included.
You're not gonna be part of that?
No, not part of that statistic. Not at all. So, I said that to say, if in fact Americans are going to be spending that kind of money during these holidays, do you have a budget? Have you decided what you're going to buy, how much you're going to spend? And where is the money coming from?
Well, that's a good question. Where is it coming from? Are you taking it from Peter to pay Paul?
Are you maxing out your credit cards? I know this might be a hard topic for some people to hear, but are you maxing out your credit cards?
Well,
as DJ Blend said, are you robbing Peter to pay Paul because you just need to buy that gift for that person? And not just let's talk about the children. Let's talk about the children.
Let's talk about the grandchildren.
Let's talk about the children, the grandchildren. Are you going to break the bank to buy those kids gifts and all of that?
That they'll forget in 2 weeks.
That they will tear up a couple of weeks after they get it, or
goodness.
They won't pick it up again? Now, I already have a comment.
What's the comment?
And this comment is, what's a budget? What's a budget? An allotted allocation of funds and time for me. That's what she's saying. I budget my money to last from pay period to pay period, so I don't have to go without any money.
There you go.
I budget my time as well. Well, that is a good point. Listener, to budget your time. It is important for you to budget your time as well, because in some ways they tell you time is money. Especially
Definitely.
if you're working on someone's job, time is money. So it is very important for you to budget
Right.
your time.
Right.
But in this sense today, we are talking about budgeting your funds.
That's right. Budgeting the funds.
So what is a budget?
What is it?
What is it? So budget is basically an estimate of revenue and expenses that's made for a specific future period of time. So, layman's terms, we take what we're making,
Mm-hmm.
what we're projected to spend out,
Right.
to give out,
Right.
and what do we have left after that?
Right.
Is there anything left after that?
Is there?
Is there?
That's the question.
So budgets can be made for anyone. Anyone, if you need or you want to spend money, and there's always that sentiment that some people say, well, I make enough money, or blah, blah, I don't need to budget it out, I can spend it on whatever. But the truth of the matter is that everyone can use a budget.
Yeah.
It is beneficial for everyone, whether you are not concerned about how much money you spend, or whether you are concerned about money you spend, concerned about saving money, concerned about investing in money.
Right.
So all of that encompasses what is a budget.
Right. But you know, those who say they're not worried about, that's where it can get out of control.
In a heartbeat,
Yep.
it can get out of control.
Yep.
You can spend, and then find yourself that some people, I know, some people spend things on what they want and they beg for what they need. So let me just say that, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
That's not the way it's supposed to be.
That's right. That's not the way it's supposed to be, because if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're gonna wind up. Wait a minute. I messed
He's
that
trying
up.
to quote me, y'all. Let's see if we're gonna get this right.
Yeah. You gotta do what do what you need to do so you could do what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. So you gotta do what you need to do. So then whatever's left over, you can spend it on what you want to
Right.
do.
So part of the budget, though, is designed for you to manage your monthly expenses.
Right.
So you have a house, you have those bills that are associated with the house, you have a car, those bills that are associated with the car, any other credit card debt you might have, or any other expenses that you have,
Right.
household or otherwise.
Right.
A budget is designed to help you manage the money that you do have, to make sure that you take care of those expenses that you have.
Yep.
And the idea is to have something left over.
Yeah.
So we need to save, because we need to save for what our parents and grandparents used to call a rainy day.
Yep.
So we're going to call it, for purposes of this talk, an emergency fund.
Okay.
If you own a house, even if you don't own a house, but if you own a house, you know things break. Things happen, stuff happens, and things that you have no control over.
That's right.
And, pardon me. And the reality of it is you don't have an option as to whether you're going to fix it.
Right.
It has to be fixed.
Right.
So that emergency fund can allow you to do that,
Right.
instead of you tapping into your everyday money that you have for your expenses.
Right. Right.
So how do you create a budget?
Well, let's see. You write up all the things all the money you got coming in.
Right?
Write up all the money that's going out,
Right?
and then subtract that out and see what's left.
Now, that's a very abbreviated form, but I'm going to give you some steps on how you are the best ways to create a budget. And one thing that I did not hear you say is saving.
Right.
Part of your budget should be saving.
Well, that's included in all the money that's going out. I just said all the money coming in. Yeah, because savings is from the money that's coming in, you taking out of that to go to savings. So that's going out of what's coming in. That's part of what's going out. It's a savings. Then you got, your bills, your savings. I always heard to pay yourself first. Put something up first. So that's, you get your money coming in, and then You take some out for yourself, pay your bills, and then what's left. Sometimes you might have to adjust that depending on what you make or whatever, on your bills and stuff and whatever it is. So.
Okay, so you may be on to something there, DJ Blend. We're going to go through the 7 steps of how to create a budget.
Okay.
So, as you said, you're going to add up all of your income. And that's income whether it's coming from a job that you're working 9 to 5, whether you're working something on the side, whatever that income is, you're going to add up.
Selling wood.
All of that, whatever that income is, that's what you're going to add up.
Right.
Okay. Then you're going to calculate your expenses. So we talked about that. If you have a house, whatever those expenses. Most people, if they're living anywhere, you're paying a water bill, a gas bill, a light bill, a cable bill, you're paying all those bills.
Right.
And again, your credit cards, all of that.
Right.
Your expenses. And then, well, with those expenses, we include food.
Right.
We include transportation, you put gas in your car,
Right.
insurance,
Right.
taxes, child care. We included all of that.
Right.
Now, then you go to identifying your debt payments. Your debt payments. So those are your credit cards,
Right.
whether or not you have any loans or anything like that. Okay. Now, you're going to subtract that from your income.
Right. All of that.
All of that. You're going to subtract that from your income.
Right.
And hopefully once you subtract that from your income, you actually have something left. You want to have something left. It's not always the case. Then you're going to review your spending, because in the event that you don't have anything left or you have a little left, then you need to determine, okay, what am I spending my money on? Some of the experts will say, and it is good because this practice is a good practice for you to try.
Right.
Write down everything that you spend.
Right.
Do that for a week.
Right. Right.
I don't care if you go to the store and whatever it is that you buy. I don't care if you go to the vending machine and spend 50 cents. Okay, I'm probably telling my age because you probably can't even get anything for 50 cents. But even if you go to the vending machine and buy some chips or some cookies or whatever, you write that down. Whatever money you spend in that week,
Right.
write it down.
Right. Right. Right.
At the end of that week, you look at what you spent your money on and you add that up.
Right.
So when people say, oh, I can't afford to save anything, I don't have anything left, look at what you spend your money on. This next step says review your spending.
Right.
And that's a great way for you to review what you're spending your money on.
Right. Right.
Then-
Starbucks people.
Hey, I'm not going to knock Starbucks because when I was in another state, I went to Starbucks. I never got the extravagant drinks, but I still went to Starbucks.
Well,
but we'll talk about
Okay.
doing that a little bit later. We're going to get through these 7 and then we're going to take a break. So number 5 is for you to create a spending plan. So after you've determined what you made, add up income, determine what your expenditures are, all your expenses and all of that, subtract that from your income, review your spending, then you create a plan. And like I said, if you want to do something, do this exercise for an entire week. Write down everything you spend money on.
Okay.
Everything you spend money on.
Okay.
Okay. So then from that, you can create a plan because you can determine, I might be doing a lot of frivolous spending, or I find myself going to the vending machine 12 times a day getting this.
Right.
So you try to make some assessments. And then you're going to set some financial goals. So what is that? So what we're going to do, there is a term from the 7 habits of highly effective people. One of those habits says you begin with the end in mind.
Right.
Meaning, you're working backwards. What are your financial goals? And once you set those financial goals, then you can determine what adjustments you need to make in your spending in order for you to be able to reach that goal. So if it's whatever that goal is,
Right.
you say, okay, if I put away X amount every time I get paid, by the end of the year, if that's your goal, by the end of the year, then you would have reached your goal.
Right.
So whatever that is, and then you adjust.
Right.
If you find out that something's just not working, or you may even determine that, hey, I'm spending money on this and I've kind of allotted for that, but I really don't need that.
Right.
Because I have this goal in mind. And so in order for me, I can reach this goal faster and maybe even exceed this goal if I cut this out, because I really don't need it.
Right, right.
So once you take those steps, add up your income, calculate your expenses, identify your debt payments, review those spendings, create a spending plan, set your financial goals, and adjust each month as appropriate.
Right. Okay.
Now, if you have any comments or anything you'd like to add, please, we would love to hear from you. The number is 305-898-0271. We'll be right back.
It's your favorite radio power couple, DJ Blend and Lady Blend.
Yes, sir.
We are back.
That's right.
Absolutely, we are back. And so when we left off, we were talking about some 7 steps, just some general steps on how you can create a budget. Now, budgets can also help you maintain control over your money and where it goes, and you can enjoy greater financial confidence and success. And like I was saying before we took the break, do that exercise. You will definitely find, I think you will be shocked to learn how much money you spend on things. And one of the things that I also discovered is this, that I thought about, is I've sort of did an exercise like that. And one of the things I decided that I was going to do when I was going into the office was I was going to say, I want to spend the least amount of money in a week, in a work week. So a lot of times I would spend not anything but $1.
For the whole week?
For the whole week.
Wow.
The reason being is that what I thought about, I said, wait a minute. I started out eating out, like many of you probably do. Eat out for lunch every day, go grab a soda, go grab this or whatever. And then I thought about that. I said, well, wait, I go to the grocery store. I buy groceries. So why not use the groceries? I've already spent the money. Why not use what I have or put those things on my grocery list so that I can buy them and I don't have to pay upcharges for getting a pack of cookies that almost costs the amount that you get a whole pack of cookies for one pack of cookies.
Right, right.
And I mean, I probably got a little bit anal with it. I'm getting off subject, but I probably got a little bit anal with it because I would also bring my water, my coffee. I bring everything. I bring my snacks, my lunch, my breakfast. I would take everything to work, and I would pride myself. I would feel good at the end of the week that I didn't spend any money.
Right.
I didn't spend any money. So, again, just try that because it can help you get control over your money. Now, we know that there are some myths. Some myths that can block your success with a budget. Some myths. And we want to dispel of those myths right now.
Okay.
The very first one. I don't need a budget.
And you mentioned that early on. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't need a budget. But again, whether you making a 6-figure, 7-figure salary or $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, whatever that is, your idea and your mindset should be that I want to get a handle on what I'm spending. I want to know where my hard-earned money is going.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to know. I want to be the one in control over where my money goes and how I spend it. Yeah. So it doesn't matter about what your income is. Yeah. What it matters is all about you getting control over your finances and having the ability to save money. Now, we know that everyone's not in a situation where they can save a whole lot, but I look at it like this. When people say, I can't afford to get insurance, well, if you can't afford to get insurance, you can't afford not to get insurance.
Right.
Because if you don't have insurance, when something does happen, that means you have to pay out of pocket.
Yep.
So you can't afford not to get insurance. And the way I'm pushing this one is you can't afford not to have a budget.
Right.
You cannot afford not to have a budget. Because it keeps you and it gets you a handle on your monthly income and your expenses, and allows you to make sure that your hard-earned money, like I said, is being put to its highest and best purpose.
Yep.
A budget can help you maximize savings and investments.
Yep.
So when you say I can't say, oh, you can't afford not to save.
Right.
Even if you put it, you don't have to save $100 or $200. You could save $5.
Right.
You will be surprised if you save $5 a week, because the reality of it is most Americans, most of us, we throw $5 away.
Easily.
Easy. We throw $5 away.
Easy.
So do the exercise. I'm keep on going back to the exercise by putting everything down that you spend, everything. You will discover that $5 will seem like chump change to you. Even if you put $5 a week, you multiply that by 52 weeks.
Yeah.
What you got? What?
5 times 52 is $270.
Okay. So if it's $270, it's $270.
$260, sorry.
$260. Just think, that's $5. Just think if you put $10 away a week. But again, it matters. It matters because you should save. You should have the bit save something, even if it's $2.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Get in the habit of saving something.
Yep.
Okay. Another myth. I'm not great at math. Well, you do not have to be a rocket scientist or a mathematician to do a budget. They made calculators, adding machines, even your phone. Your phone will do it for you. Adding. It's adding and subtracting. Your basic mathematical functions, adding and subtracting.
Right.
We know the principle of this. What you put in and what you take out, and it's what do you have left?
Right.
What do you have left?
Right.
So, yeah, you don't have to be great at math in order to follow a budget. You just need to have a plan and set some goals to move forward. My job is secure. Now, this is for those people who feel like I'll never get fired, nothing will ever happen to me, nothing ever.
Yeah.
My job is secure. Is any job secure? Is any job really secure? So, nothing is truly safe. We know that.
Right.
Nothing is truly safe. So you should always try to prepare as best you can for a rainy day.
Yeah.
And the rule of thumb is, what financial experts will tell you, that you should have 3 months of expenses saved up. So if something happens, at least for those 3 months, I can pay my mortgage, I can pay my car note, I can pay my insurance, I can eat, I can get, those necessities.
Right.
You'll have.
Right.
The other reality of that is most people don't have that saved. Most people don't have that saved, but yeah, most people don't have that saved. It is good to do that. That's a goal for you to strive towards.
Right.
If you're interested in making a goal, which I hope you are, that is something for you to strive for.
Right.
To be able to have or start that savings so that you can have 3 months of expenses saved up in case anything happens.
Right.
Anything happens. So nothing, again, even talking about, I have unemployment. We know unemployment is probably less than $500.
Yeah.
It's probably less than $500, and it's not going to cover your expenses.
No.
And guess what? Your creditors don't care.
Right.
They don't care that you're unemployed and you're only getting X amount of dollars.
Your mortgage company don't care.
The mortgage company doesn't care. You getting X amount of dollars. All they want is their money.
Yeah.
So What we want to do and why we're talking about this is because we want you to get prepared. If you haven't thought about a budget, this is the time. Start thinking about a budget. And I've said before that we're not doing New Year's resolutions. We're talking about personal growth, personal improvement. Put that on the personal improvement.
Yep.
Start a budget.
That's right.
That is a part of personal improvement.
That's right. Yeah.
And okay, here's a big one, and
Here's a
I've
big
heard
one.
people say this.
Wait. You say here's a big
Here's
one?
a big one.
Okay.
I've heard people say this.
So you say it's a big
And
one.
you
so
probably heard people say this. I don't want to deprive myself.
I don't want to deprive myself.
I don't want to deprive myself
of the things
of
that
the
I
things
want.
that I want.
or think
I
I
work hard, and I'm not saying that you don't.
Right.
I work hard, and I should have what I want. Now, having a budget does not mean that you give up everything that you ever wanted. Okay,
Right,
it doesn't mean that you can't acquire some of the things that you want. It just means that you're smart about it.
Right.
If you want that thing, save for it.
Right.
Save for it.
Yeah.
Put this aside. Do a little bit of math. It costs X amount of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'd like to have it in 3 months or 6 months.
Or 6 months.
I'd like to have it in 6 months. If I put away X amount of dollars, then I'll have it. And guess what that's going to save you? If you do that, if you're disciplined enough or discipline yourself to do that, it saves you a lot. It saves you on interest payments, first of all, because if you go pay that with a credit card and you already have something on the credit card, you're already paying interest on whatever it is on that credit card. And when you add that to the credit card, you're paying interest on that as well.
Right.
And a lot of time, if you're making the minimum payments,
Yeah.
you probably won't pay that thing off for a couple of years.
Right.
For a couple of years. So plan for it. That's what a budget is about too. Putting something aside so that you can reach a goal that you're trying to do or buy that thing that you're trying to purchase so that you're not spending more than you have to spend.
Right.
And that's what we want to do.
Right.
So we're not saying that you should deprive yourself. That is not the goal. And budgeting is not synonymous with spending a little money, as little money as possible. That's not what a budget is about. A budget, remember, is about controlling and having control over your finances and knowing where your money is going.
What you said.
It is not
is-
synonymous with spending as little money as you possibly can. That's not what a budget is. Or making you feel guilty about every purchase that you make for that fact.
Right.
You don't want to feel guilty about every purchase you make. But again, you want to be smart. You want to be smart about it because you do want to have something later. You don't want to have those emergencies or something comes up or something that you need and everything is an emergency.
Right.
We don't want everything to be an emergency.
Right.
We don't want everything to be
We
an
don't
emergency.
need everything to be an emergency. That's right.
Okay.
Yep. Well, let's take a 30-second break here.
Let's take a 30-second
Yeah.
break here.
We'll
We'll be
just
back.
we'll be right back.
Would you like to have an interview live on the air? Well, Intermix Radio has several different and affordable options. For more information, contact us at info@intermixradio.com or call us directly at 305-898-0271. Are you interested in becoming an Intermix Radio sponsor? If your business would like to be highlighted on air in a commercial, then Intermix Radio has several options for you. For more information, contact us at info@intermixradio.com or call us directly at 305-898-0271.
Okay.
All
we're
right.
back.
We are back.
So where were you at, Lady Blend?
So where I am is we're talking about myths or reasons and things about not having a budget.
Right.
For not having a budget.
Right.
So we're trying to dispel some of those myths and put those to bed so that basically I said myths so you don't have excuses for not having a budget.
Okay.
No excuses.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is I don't want anything big. Now remember, I said for the previous one, budgets are not synonymous we're spending as little money as possible. Okay? So not the fact that you don't want anything big should not be a reason. If you don't have any major savings goals, it's hard for you to get motivated to stash something away.
Right.
So that's why I said set some goals on the budget. Set some goals.
Set some goals.
It has to be something that you want. You might want to, again, to save for that emergency fund when the car stops running and you have to go get a transmission, or you have to go get brakes done, or the water heater goes out and you need a water heater, or anything happens in the house. Anything can happen. Anything can happen with the car, house, whatever. It's called an emergency fund. It's called having something put away, saved, so that everything that happens does not create an emergency.
That's right.
Does not create an emergency. So whether you want to buy anything big or not, that has nothing to do with you having a budget.
Right.
Nothing to do with you having a budget.
Nothing at all.
So now we're getting into this next one is I don't qualify for student financial aid. And this is basically one of those excuses. Okay, if I have the money and I budget the money, then I'm going to get less money for financial aid. And I might not get the amount of money that I need for financial aid because of my income.
Right.
So I'm just going to spend, and I put myself in this category where I actually do need help because I don't have it.
Right, right.
Now,
well, I can see automatically by what you said how that doesn't make sense. Because if you're putting the money aside and saving it, that's not calculated as your income.
Exactly. That's not calculated as your income. And let's not forget that your taxes and all that in terms of your qualifications are calculated on your earned income.
Right, or adjusted gross income.
Exactly.
Right.
Not what you put aside and save.
Right.
It's not calculated on
right.
that.
That's right.
And even though they are free applications, but at the end of the day, we have to think about the fact that if you borrow the money, you got to pay it back.
Right.
You do have to pay it back.
Right.
So in the event that you do have money set aside for that purpose, then I would suggest you use it for that purpose.
Right.
To try to mitigate what you have to pay back.
Right. It doesn't come out of your general overhead.
Right.
Right.
To try to mitigate that.
Right.
Oh, hey, this is a big one too.
Yes.
This is a big one too, a big myth.
Hold on, here we go. It's a big one.
The next one is.
It's a big one, y'all.
Have to wait for the drum roll to stop. I'm debt free. So what do I need a budget for? I don't owe anyone.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm debt free.
Keep riding.
And what to that I would say congratulations.
Yes,
congratulations. We're gonna give you a hand that you are debt free.
Yep.
Very, very good for you.
That's right.
But being debt free and not have any kind of savings, not have anything put aside for an emergency fund does you no good.
Right.
Oh, we have a caller. Hello, caller. You are on with Lady Blend. How can I help you?
Doc Flowers, how you doing, ma'am?
Doing very well.
Awesome. Enjoying the show tonight. Love this teaching moment that you guys are having for the folks out here. Good thing, good deal.
Thank
Bravo.
You, thank you.
And you let DJ Blend talk a little bit every now and then too. That's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah. I'm glad when I can get a few words in there. You know.
Yeah, I like that. Hey, man, I wanted to call to make a couple comments, man, about this budget thing, man. I love what you guys are teaching. I mean, people need to know this, and it's crazy. I was looking at some research earlier when I first saw your text that went out. And it was talking about budgets. So I went and did a little research. And actually, your budget is actually biblical in a way.
Okay.
And if you look at Luke chapter 14, verse 28 and 29, it says, for which of you intends to build a tower, sitting not down first and counteth the cost, whether he has sufficient to finish it, less happily after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold will begin to mock him. So it's crazy how that works, because a lot of times when people go through rough rough stuff. They said the devil's giving me a hard time and this, this, and that. I think you're being defeated because you have lack of knowledge of how to plan and prepare.
Right.
If you don't count the cost, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lady Glenn.
No, I was going to say, to your point there, saying it is biblical, but remember Jesus also told the people, render unto Caesar what is owed to Caesar. So he never said don't pay your bills. Pay what you owe.
That's right.
Pay what you owe.
And bring that full circle to where you said that if for he who cannot render it or doesn't have anything left, basically, then you're stuck. I'm using a different verbiage of it, but you know,
right.
Then you wind up being stuck. You know, you're in
absolutely
you're in the crapper, basically.
Exactly. So what I got most out of that, man, was if you don't count the cost, you have no idea what to expect.
That's right.
Also, if you don't count the cost, by being willing to be rejected by people. I mean, like, for instance, people try to follow folks to keep up with them. That's not in your budget.
Right.
Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses. Take care of yourself. Make sure you can handle what you can handle.
That is so true. That is so true. Because you know what?
Yeah.
The other part of that is this. Sometimes we are envious of what we see that other people have. But we have to be careful. We're not supposed to be envious. Because you don't know what that person went through to get what they have to be where they are.
I agree with you 100%. And the last point I want to make is, if you are really true to having a budget and sticking to it, you really have to learn to deny yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes
that
discipline.
Point is what you just said. That's what you just said. You really have to know what you can do. And if you can't do it, don't overdo it. Trying to keep up or be something or do something you know that's going to be detrimental in the end. So I agree, a budget is important. You better count the cost, because if you don't, everything will be an emergency, and you will pay out your pocket.
Absolutely.
Everything will be an emergency. I enjoyed you guys, man. Thank you for taking my call.
No
All right, thank you.
Yep.
You guys take care now.
You
All
too.
right,
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes, indeed, boy. That caller put it right on point.
That's
there.
absolutely, because
indeed.
you do have people who try to keep up with what other people are doing.
Right.
And if you know that you can't afford it, you have to be true to yourself. You might want to take that trip, but are you going to take that trip at the expense of spending everything that you have, knowing that next week you need to pay the mortgage,
right,
or you need to pay the gas bill,
right,
light bill, phone bill, car note? Are you going to do that?
You know, I've heard people say, you know, I'll worry about it when it comes up.
Again, spending on what you want and begging for what you need. And that is not the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's true.
So those are some good points that the caller made. Thank you so much. And again, you won't have any comments. It is 305-898-0271.
You're tuned into the Midweek Smoothie with DJ Blend and Lady Blend on Intermix Radio.
Yeah, that's right. We're back. Boy, y'all need to stay tuned in. Boy, y'all hear that caller, what he said?
That's right.
Boy, look at here.
That's right. Hey, count the costs first. Figure out how much it costs. Budget for that cost. Don't get to the point where you at the end or in the middle of something and you realize you're short. You don't want to be short.
That's right.
But again, we're talking about budgets, and we're talking about making a budget. We're talking about everyone needing to have a budget for that accountability of where your money is going, how you're spending your money. Okay.
Yes.
So the next one that we have, the next myth or reasons why you could possibly not have a budget or wouldn't want to have, is I always get a raise or a tax refund.
Oh,
now,
yeah, if you count on that.
We know
that
always, we cannot say always get a raise, and we cannot say always get a tax refund. We can't use those two words together, because always means it never fails. It will happen. that is just not true.
That's right.
You're not always going. You may have been getting a raise year after year, but that's not something that you have to get. That has to happen. Anything can happen to your company. Anything can happen to your job. It can be here today, gone tomorrow. You just never know. Of course, we don't want to live from paycheck to paycheck or think that something is going to happen, but we definitely want to be prepared and not rely on things that are not necessarily reliable.
Right, right.
And tax refunds, let's just talk about tax. We know taxes change. Tax
Every
laws change every
Every
year.
year.
Things change every year.
Every year.
So there are no guarantees that you will get a tax refund. So
Right.
that is definitely not something that you can count on. Those things are unpredictable, and you can't count on those to say, I don't need a budget. I can just spend because whatever I'm going to get in my raise, you've already calculated that, and in some instances, some people have already spent it.
Right, right. You
Have
know,
already spent
to
it.
the tax refund though thing, only thing I'll say is this: is if and when possible, when you get a tax refund, just leave it aside like you never got it, because that'll go into that rainy day or emergency fund. And then if you did that plus what you're putting aside, and you did that for a few years, can you imagine? Especially someone who's getting, let's say, their tax return is $5,000. You know,
Right.
I
If
mean-
you're getting a substantial, what we'll call substantial tax refund, if you do put that aside, so. And I think also budget, as you say that,
Right.
I would say also having a budget and thinking like that is an attitude. So it's an attitude. What do you want to do? What goals do you want to set? How do you want to live past today, past tomorrow?
Right.
What are you going to do 10 years from now?
Right,
You know,
right.
we have 401ks. Do you contribute to your 401k? That's an investment in you.
right,
So let me just, if you're not contributing to your 401k, you should be.
right,
Because that is an investment in you. And that's coming off the top.
right.
That's coming off the top.
Right.
That investment is coming off the top if
Right.
you have that. So, yeah, let's not rely upon things that are unpredictable
Right, right.
to say that we don't need a budget.
Absolutely right.
Because,
Absolutely
like
right.
I said, anything can change the outlook of what it is that you're thinking.
That's right. I'm just going to interject right here, right now. You know, on this Wednesday, it's 51 degrees outside, and you know, time is 7:43 right now. We coming up to that first hour, so.
Yes,
But you
we
know,
are.
and you know, and a selfish plug, Lady Blend. You want to do
I
that?
surface plug. Now it is 50. I think the temperature just dropped a degree. It is 50 degrees out here in Palmetto, Georgia. Now you know it's gonna get colder because I know you heard on the news today or news yesterday that temperature is gonna drop. Shameless plug. You better come get that wood.
That's right.
Have wood for sale.
We got wood for sale.
Text 305-898-0271.
That's right.
Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
That's right.
But I'm serious. Okay.
Yeah.
So back to the budget. So we're talking about budgets, how you prepare for a budget, and now we're going over some of the myths of or reasons really why people decide that they don't want to have a budget. And right now we're at number 10. So the 10th one is I don't have the discipline. Now, I understand that could possibly be true.
Yeah.
If it, you know what, and we say this all the time too, that we are a product of our environment. So if your parents didn't save, or if you were never around people, adults who stressed that it's important for you to save no matter what it is,
Right.
save for things that you want.
Right.
If you did not have that type of discipline in your life, then yeah, you might not. You have
it'll
to
be harder for you.
It'll be harder for you to do it.
Right.
You have to develop that along the way. You know, and it can be a trial and error kind of thing, but you have to develop the discipline to be able to put something aside. And again, goal setting will help you. Goal setting will help you because anytime you are reaching for a goal, moving towards a goal, if that's something that you're passionate about, you will likely do those things that you'll need to do to make that happen.
That's right.
So, yes, I understand that no, you're not born with that discipline. You have to develop that discipline to be able to do that, to say, hey, I want to put, like I said, even if it's as little as $5 aside, You know, whatever that is, if you can put more aside, put more aside. But what you don't want to do, let me make sure you understand this, what you do not want to do is start putting so much aside so you have to go in there and touch that money.
Right.
I have to go touch this money now. I have to go touch this money. If you're doing that, then that means you can't afford what you're putting aside.
Right. Cut
You
it
need
back.
to put something aside that is going to allow you to continue to do the things that you need to do, to
Right.
pay your bills, to do your debt, buy that little thing that you want. Like I said, it doesn't mean that you have to deprive yourself of everything, but what we're talking about in this budget is making sure that we plan for the things that we want. Reality is there is nothing that we need tomorrow.
Right.
No, we need tomorrow.
Well, yeah. Well, let me see.
There is nothing we need tomorrow.
Well-
Even if you want a dress or you need a dress, I guarantee you there's a dress in your closet that you can wear. If it's a suit or is there something in your closet that you can wear? This is an emergency situation. I'm not saying emergencies don't occur, but I definitely would not I personally would not use emergency fund money to go and buy a dress or go and buy a suit or something like that. I don't consider that to be an emergency situation.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I was about to go left with
I
something.
know you were. But I'm just saying, just to be smart. You know, we do have to learn discipline, and that is another one of those skills that you have to learn.
Right.
You have to learn to discipline yourself, and if you learn to discipline yourself in other areas of your life, it will spill over into other areas of your life that you need to also have some discipline in as
Yep,
well.
yep,
So
yep.
that's a good thing.
Okay.
Now, here's one. It's a luxury to have a budget, and I barely have enough, to live on. So I don't have anything to save.
Right.
I have nothing to save. And in some instances, that may absolutely be true.
Right.
That may absolutely be true. But again, I would encourage you to journal for a week. Write down everything that you spend. A quarter, 50 cents, $1, nothing is too small. Write it down. At the end of that week, look at what you spent your money on. Determine what you didn't have to spend your money on. And there you go. That's what you can put aside to save.
Right.
That's what you can put aside to save. Like I said, it doesn't have to be $100, $200. It doesn't have to be that.
Right.
It should be what you can afford to do based on your goals, based on your income, based on your expenditures and all of that. You can probably put away something, because I'm sure that somewhere, somehow, you will realize that there is some frivolous spending going on in
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
In what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, so we're at about 7:49. So I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to be wrapping this up. This last topic about budget really goes to it's called downsizing and substituting.
Okay.
So this really goes to one of the talks we had about credit.
Right.
So do you understand your credit?
Right.
And budgeting also is an education. It is an educational process.
Right.
So you should read up on, like the caller said and the lady that said, the one who texted in. It is an educational process. You have to learn about it. So if you don't know how to do it, the internet will tell you. The internet will give you the steps. I gave you some steps. You can look it up for yourself. So in terms of downsizing and substituting, this is talking about getting rid of those high interest credit cards.
Right.
Substituting them for something else.
Right.
And I will repeat this again. Go to your credit card companies, ask them to decrease your interest rate.
The worst they can say is no.
All they can say is no.
Yeah.
Just ask.
Right.
Ask them to decrease your interest rate, especially if you've been paying on time. You haven't missed any payments and you've been paying on time. You've been with them some period of time. Ask them to decrease your interest rates.
Right.
They will do it. They will do it.
Right.
I'm a witness. They will do it if you ask them.
Right.
So ask them. So sometimes when you're creating a budget, you have to kind of shed those things that you don't need. And it's the same thing as shedding that frivolous spending that you don't need.
Yeah.
Put it somewhere where you're saving it for yourself. Look at it as though you are, and it's not as though. You are investing in yourself.
Right.
When you save, you are investing in yourself.
Right.
You invest in yourself. So get rid of those credit cards that have those high interest rates on them. Call your credit card companies and ask them to decrease your interest rate. And they may tell you that they're not going to do it right now. They may tell you they're going to do it later.
Yeah.
But as long as they do it.
Yeah, it's better. It's better than hearing this.
Crickets. Crickets.
Crickets. Yeah.
Oh, and so another thing too is sometimes we have those reoccurring subscriptions, and sometimes we get it, whether it be magazines or certain things like that's just reoccurring because, and this is how they get you, ladies and gentlemen. This is how they get you. So pay attention when they say it's going to be 0% for 30 days or 0% for 4 months. Okay, so what you need to be looking at is what's going to happen when 4 months is up.
Right. What's the cost going to be?
What's the cost? Because now, most of the time what happens, your interest kicks in, and that interest is accrued back from the first time you got that card. So for 4 months ago, it's compounded there up until this point, and it continues. Same way.
Yep.
It's a good thing to do if you can do it. If you can do that, if you can get that credit card, if you're disciplined enough to get that credit card and buy that high ticket item that you need, and if they give you some kind of incentive and they say no interest for a year or 2 years or whatever, that's fine. But you need to be intentional about paying it off.
Yeah.
You need to be intentional because if you do not pay it off
2 years
during
worth
that
of
promotional time,
Yeah.
you have 2 years worth of interest that will be compounded
And add it to the balance.
and added to your balance.
That's
So those are some things that you can do, but those subscriptions that you don't need, if you keep getting those magazines that you don't even read, but you got that subscription some time ago, cancel them. Cancel them. If it is $10 a month, you may say, oh, it's just $10 a month. It's just $5 a month. Start thinking in terms of a year.
Yep.
5 times
12
months. So
$60.
you're paying $60. Guess what? You could be using that $60 investing in yourself, putting it aside, saving.
Right.
So if you have those subscriptions and all those things, those magazines you don't even use, cancel them.
That's right.
Cancel them. Keep that money for yourself.
Right.
Put it in your emergency fund.
That's right. That's definitely
And
right.
the other thing about this is we have 6 minutes. I want to say, and hopefully you are encouraged to go and get a budget. It does not have to be anything extravagant. It just needs to be, listen, this is what I make. These are my bills. This is what's going out. Let me subtract that. Let me see what I have left. Let me see how I can adjust. Let me evaluate where my money is going. You should know where your money is going.
Right,
You
right.
should be in control of where your money is going.
Right.
So once you do that, stick to it.
Yeah.
Stick to it. Have a
Stick to
goal,
it.
set some goals, and stick to it. If you want to save $1,000 by the end of the year, they have so many things on the internet that you can use. They have so many scales, paper scales. You can save $1,000. You can save $10,000. You can save $5,000. And that might seem like a lot to you, but if you're interested in doing that, I encourage you to go on the internet and look it up. It tells you exactly how much you need to put aside a week to say that, and you'll be surprised and celebrate those victories when you reach those goals.
That's right.
And what that does is pushes you and motivates you. Say, okay, I did $5,000 this year. Maybe the next time I started, I do 5,200. I mean,
Right.
we're not saying that you should jump to 10,
Right.
but I might do 5,200. And it feels good to have that. It feels good to know that if an emergency does arrive, and you need to pay something that, no, it's not necessarily what you want to spend it on, but the fact that you have it to spend and it's not going to interfere with your everyday expenses, that's a great feeling.
Right.
And you can get that, ladies and gentlemen. Again, you just have to have that discipline. You have to get that budget, and you have to stick to it.
That's right.
Just stick to it.
That's right. That's right. I totally agree with you on that, you know. So we got about 4 minutes left, Lady Blend. So you're gonna wrap this up and give them a quick synopsis?
I'm wrapping up. Let me wrap it up. Just I want to say this. I want to say this because this is a serious subject, and we really try to bring things that will bring awareness, that are teaching moments, some educational moments, and all of that, because these are things that are important. So what we want to do is think about, we want to think about having and creating generational wealth. The only way that we can do that is we have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
We have to start with ourselves. We have to determine that we're going to put something aside. We are going to do something investing in ourselves. And so you have to start there.
That's right.
You have to start there. And with your children, start them off by doing it too. If you give them an allowance, tell them they need to budget it. Because you know how children are. Right. Now, as long as you buying something for them, they will spend your money until it's all gone. But as soon as you say, okay, well, yeah, you want that, then you're going to have to save your money for it so you can buy it. And all of a sudden, they don't need it anymore.
Right.
They don't want it anymore.
Right.
So start your children doing that. Start them saving. Start them. If you give them allowance, it's just, I don't know what allowances are because it's been a long time since I've done that. But let's just say you gave an allowance of $10 a week. Let's say you gave $10 a week. Okay, start a savings account for them. Have them put $2 aside.
Yeah.
Put that in savings. Have them start to get them in the habit. You may not have grown up that way, but have your children, start your children to do that, to form those habits. And then they form those habits, they'll continue those habits. So let's make sure that, again, that we're budgeting, that we know where our money is going.
Right.
Please do that challenge by writing down everything that you spend. Just do it for 1 week. And I'm telling you that you would be totally surprised, shocked, and appalled about where you spend your money and how much of your money you spend on things that you don't even think about on a daily basis. So we have 2 minutes, and I am going to go over how to create a budget. It's those 7 steps. It's simple. We don't want to make it hard because we want you to do it. Add up your income. Wherever your income comes from, working, you have a side business, whatever it is, add your income up. Calculate all of your expenses, and that means your mortgage bill, your rent, everything. Calculate your expenses, your household expenses, whether you have a house or an apartment or you're renting, whatever that is, calculate those expenses. Identify your debt payments. That means your credit cards, your loans, all of those payments. And then once you get those 2 things together, subtract that from your income and let's see what you have left. Review your spending after you do all of that, because you may determine that you're spending your money someplace that you realize you don't need to, or you may be doing something double and say, well, if I'm doing this, I don't need to do that. So review your spending and then create a spending plan. Listen, I have to pay my household bills. I need a roof over my head. I need my car insurance. Those things that are necessities you know that you need. So review what you're spending your money on. Set some financial goals. Make sure that you set goals. What is it that you want to save? What is it that you want to have or acquire? And make a plan to get it and then adjust it. That's right. It's not written in stone. You have to start from somewhere.
That's right.
If it's not working, you make some minor adjustments until you make it work.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got something out of this as much as I was happy, and we were happy to bring this to you. Create a budget.